All right, welcome to Talkin Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about Marathon Digital Holdings, stock ticker MARA. They put a press release out to summarize their third quarter operations. That's the quarter ended September 30th, 2022. If you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button, it's really helping the channel out a lot, and I appreciate it. Lastly, if you want to be a member of the channel, you can hit the join button on the YouTube page. If you don't see a join button, then there should be a link below. So members have some member-only content, and in addition to that, I do a once-a-week members-only live stream, and the members get to pick one video a week for me to do a deep dive on. So we'd love to see you there. Okay, let's talk about Marathon Digital Holding. Just after they got through finally a couple of months in a row doing what they said they were going to do, it looks like November has gone the other way. So the month's less than half over, but I do want to talk about where they're at right now because it looks like they're going to have a dramatic reduction in production in the month of November, which would be a big red flag to me. Now, we need to give them an opportunity to put their November operational report out. That'll come out in early December and give themselves a chance to explain what happened in November, but it looks like something's going on, and with Marathon, it's been a year of this, so this really feels like a here we go again situation. Okay, let's take a look at where their stock is. It's trading at $9.77. That leaves them at $1.1 billion. Just quickly, I always like to put in perspective what that means historically. So here's a chart of their stock for the last 2 years. You can see in November when Bitcoin hit its all-time high, this was a $7.5 billion company. So their valuation has pulled back dramatically since then. The entire Bitcoin mining industry, all of the stocks in this industry's valuation has pulled back on the average over 90% in that period of time. So this is not just a Marathon thing. If we look, the stock rallied in August when Bitcoin had a rally up to 25,000. They got up to a $2 billion valuation. So that's almost cut in half. But surprisingly, you're going to see that really over the last 5 months, Marathon is the best performing Bitcoin mining stock by a lot. So we'll get to that chart later as well. In the meantime, I want to go through what happened in the third quarter and then what's happening in November, and then we'll look at the charts. So let's get to the press release. Marathon Digital Holding reports third quarter 2022 results. Third quarter financial results, the company recorded a net loss of $75 million or 65 cents per share during the quarter, compared with a net loss of $22 million or 22 cents per share for the prior year period. Now, I like to say, for me personally, the top line and the bottom line for these Bitcoin miners, in other words, their revenue and their net income, are not the most meaningful numbers. We knew over a month ago exactly how many Bitcoin they mined in the third quarter of 2022. So at that point, doing the math of figuring out what their top line is, their revenue, is a pretty simple calculation. So there's no real surprise on the top line. So in their October operational update report, which was November 2nd, so that was just 11 days ago, as of November 1st, operating mining fleet consisted of approximately 69,000 active miners producing 7.0 exahash per second. After approximately 32,000 miners, 3.2 exahash, were successfully energized during October. Based on current construction and installation schedules provided to Marathon by its hosting providers, the company continues to expect to have enough miners installed to generate approximately 23 exahash near the middle of fiscal 2023. But they are mining at the current pace, they're mining significantly less Bitcoin in November than they did in October. We're at November 13th, and it looks like they've mined a little bit less than 200 Bitcoin so far. So that's way off the pace they were in October. And if they were going to get from 7 exahash to 23 exahash in the next 6 months, you would have expected month by month an increase. So that is perhaps more important to me than the entire press release regarding their third quarter performance. Their fourth quarter, if we see their production start to go in the wrong direction again, obviously that's going to be a big step backwards for them. Okay, then they say the unfavorable variances were partially offset by a decline in general and administrative expenses, primarily associated with lower stock compensation costs of $86.9 million. So that is non-cash. So those are the items I like to strip out. So as you watch my channel, if you watch my previous videos on Marathon, I like to strip out all the non-cash items because particularly with Bitcoin at these low numbers, it's now trading near $17,000. The crucial thing is, can these companies cash flow on a month-by-month basis going forward? So non-cash compensation, depreciation expense, those things are not affecting their ability to survive. And right now, all of these companies, to an extent, yes, some of them are in growth mode, but they're all in survival mode based on the fact that we are in a crypto bear market, if not a crypto winter. They exited the hardened facility completely, so they are no longer involved in that. They had $31.9 $1.9 million in gain on sale of assets. So all of those are non-operational things. That is real cash. That actually helps their cash situation. Okay, the company produced 616 Bitcoin in Q3, so we took a look at that. That is actually what we hope that is rock bottom. They've already produced more than that in the fourth quarter, even though there seems to be a problem in November. Just in October alone, they produced over 600 Bitcoin. So they will clearly beat Q3 in Q4. Okay, management's commentary. We believe Marathon had a strong foundation on which we can now continue to build our hash rate. Our near-term goal is to reach approximately 9.0 exahash per second by the end of the year. Okay, so we're in the middle of November. They were at 7 exahash rate on October 31st. They want to be at 9 on December 31st. So in the middle, you would think that November and December should represent a large increase in their Bitcoin mined, or at least some increase. But at the moment, like I said, there's been a big decrease in the number of Bitcoin mined. So that is a question I'm not going to be able to answer in this video. We don't know why that is. We will have to wait to hear from Marathon as to what is going on with their actual exahash rate and their mining. And then they say we continue to target 23 exahash per second near the middle of 2023 as we strive to establish our positions as a leader in supporting and securing the Bitcoin ecosystem. Okay, so they're still talking about 23 exahash. For me, I am more concerned about their November monthly operational update, which we will get sometime in the first week of December. I need to see what happened. The investors need to see what happened in November. If they really did mine a lot less Bitcoin, they need to give us some exact reasons as to what's going on. Because like I said, Marathon stock has outperformed all the other stocks in the entire Bitcoin mining space, and a lot of it is due to these projections. So if these are not coming to fruition, then that could be a potential red flag. And again, this is not financial advice. I can't tell you guys to buy or sell Marathon or any stock, so please do your own due diligence and know, as I think you guys do, that the Bitcoin mining stocks are among the most volatile stocks in the entire stock market. So if we look at their income statement, you're going to see revenue of $12.6 million. That is down drastically from the same period last year. It was $51 million. Now, there's no surprise here. Everybody already knew what this was going to be. Now, the information that we did get is costs and expenses. Cost of revenue, energy, hosting, and other costs, $13,772,000. So you'll see under that depreciation and amortization. So that's non-cash costs, $26.2 million. So for now, I'm going to ignore that. So we're looking at $12.6 million of revenue and $13.7 million of direct costs of just energy, hosting, and other costs. So they lost money straight up just per Bitcoin mined. I'm going to show you a chart of the cost per Bitcoin that every company had based on their June 30th financial statement. So at that time, Marathon was in last place at a cost of $23,600. I did mention at that time that because their production is so low and their company is in such a massive transitional period, I didn't think we could take away a lot from that. We don't know what their cost per coin is going to be once they're fully operational and up and running. So if you take a look now, if we do this quarter, there was $13,772,000 in direct costs divided by 616 coins. That's $22,358. Very similar to last quarter. It's probably going to also put them in last place. We have not yet gotten most of the financial statements from the other Bitcoin miners, but my guess is this will either put them in last or near last place. But I'm going to say again, we certainly want to see the cost less than the actual value of Bitcoin. So in this instance, at the moment, that is not true at all for them. So lastly, just to take a quick look at their chart. This is their chart on the 1 week time frame. So each one of these candles represents 1 week. So you'll see since November 8th, which was their all-time high. So we're almost exactly 1 year later than that. They're now down 88%. It was worse than that. I'm going to go to the 1 day time frame and zoom in and show you that actually over the last 4 or 5 months, this stock's been performing fairly well. And again, that still leaves them down 88% from their highs from just 1 year ago. Okay, so if I go to the 1 day time frame, you'll see this was the low that they set in the summer. So that was on July 5th. All the Bitcoin miners bottomed out somewhere in the last few weeks of June or the first week in July. That is when Bitcoin bottomed out. Bitcoin flash crashed down to 17,500. And that had held up until just a few days ago. So Bitcoin is now lower than it was at its summer lows. But you're going to see Marathon is still much higher. This may not look like a lot, but you're going to see they're about 88% higher than they were off of their summer lows. So if you bought Marathon back in June and July, you may be up 88%. Now, most people probably did not time that perfectly. That's not how this works. But if you continue to dollar cost average in, over the last 5 months, this has been the best of all the Bitcoin mining stocks. My concern is I'm not sure their operational performance is moving in the right direction. So we're going to have to wait and see. The first thing we're going to need to wait and see is we need to see their 10Q and management's discussion. So they need to do their filings with the SEC, and only that will allow us to take a deeper look at this. And even after that, I think we're going to have to wait for the November production report, and we're going to have to see how the rest of this year plays out. So for me, I'm a little bit cautious on Marathon. They've so far outperformed the rest of the industry, and there's a lot of downward pressure in Bitcoin miners right now. So they seem to be the last stock that has not yet been taken out, if you will. It's only to say that for me, there's a lot more downside risk than upside risk, in my opinion, at this point. Again, this is not financial advice. You guys have to make your own assessment on that, but up 88% off of their summer lows when Bitcoin is now lower than their summer lows. This stock is clearly outperforming. Okay, so a tough report, more to follow, but that's all I've got for you right now on Marathon. We'll wait for their quarterly report to come out, and maybe we'll go through this again. So if you made it this far, please remember to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.